2:35, coming at you live from the elliptical. And boy, it may be raining outside here in Brooklyn, but there's sunshine in my heart. I'm amped, ready to go for this workout. And I'm not alone, Phil is here. And what a beast. You know, don't be fooled by his, resting appearance. You see he's got the fleece on. He said, I don't mind about the weather. Nothing's keeping me from this fun run this morning. And he went out, he tore up that 10K. You see he's got his back to me. I got the last Med-Rx bar this morning. He's a little miffed about it, but we'll work through it. Open communication, the key to any healthy relationship. We'll talk it out over deadlifts. But Phil and I actually do have something on our minds we'd like to address with you, and I'm sure, it's the elephant in the room. Everyone's thinking about it. There's been a lot of controversy over some of the language we used in a recent episode. Multitudes of people have been talking about it. I'd say, tens of people maybe. And that was Phil's use of the words trans species. That's how he identifies, rather than cis species. And a lot of people found that very triggering. We're living in an age now where, triggering, microaggressions, these are all catchphrases. And, I get it. We don't want to offend anyone. We love all God's people. But sometimes, we focus so much on the language being used that we don't see the essence of the message, I feel like Leah Remini really did this with L. Ron Hubbard. So focused on the aliens and outer space and give me your money, she missed a lot of what he was saying, and that maybe a lot of what she would have agreed with. And it's been a real problem on college campuses. People refusing to, teach certain books, like classics like Things Fall Apart and The Great Gatsby, and even more tragically, stand-up comedians are refusing to perform at schools. So, there's a double whammy. You're sending your kid off to school for an exorbitant amount of money, and they got no access to Edith Wharton or Chris Rock. Certain comedians are taking a stand. Mel Brooks, he started what's called the Legion of Comedians Against Political Correctness. And I've expanded that a little to make it broader for people like me who aren't funny per se, but, we're influencers, and so I call it the Legion of very important people who listen to against political correctness. And I'm going to talk to you today about how we can sort of rein things in a little, staying respectful, but not, kind of going overboard with this politically correct stuff. And so I'm going to talk to you 3 ways you can avoid getting triggered too easily. And the first and most obvious is keep your sense of humor. Sir Laurence Olivier, he was gifted at this. People talk about him on the set of Hamlet, always with a whoopee cushion. He was just, and the best one is Claudius. He said, he's giving a speech. He goes, "My offense is rank; it smells to the heavens," and he sits. He had him rolling in the aisles with that. I find my own ways to do this. I like to wear an ironic shirt. Ironic shirts are, I can't get enough of them. This one says, "Don't hassle me, I'm local." I wore it on a recent trip to an indigenous village in the Amazon, and I had them in stitches over that. They just loved it. I was a hit there in general, not surprisingly. I also like Instagram. People will put a scary picture, from Psycho, something nuts, and then write #today's mood. Talk about hilarious. And this is the attitude we need to be bringing into our day-to-day a little more. So that's number 1. Number 2, we have to remember, even if we don't agree with people, freedom of speech is critical to the foundation of our country. And I think that episode, if nothing taught us this, it would be that episode of 90210, where Donna Martin's friends stood up and said, "I don't care what she did at the prom, Donna Martin graduates." And without freedom of speech, the freedom to say that, she could be slinging fries somewhere at a drive-through. And, I always like to exercise it. I go to a Starbucks. What I like to do is I say, and make that a medium. I don't say grande. I don't care if they tell me to say grande. I want to say medium because that's the word I'm comfortable with, so I say medium. So that's another way to really embrace the principles of avoiding being triggered. Finally, most importantly, you need to always stay pumped, stay positive, and eat protein all day.